Hi, beautiful Leo. It's Mary Ellen coming to you from Moonrise Cottage for your December 2017 Soul Tarot reading. I have a huge amount of joy coming streaming through my heart chakra this morning about the Leo journey and about the words that are coming through, streaming through for you. So I'm going to toggle over and show you the spirit card that is resting over the top of your reading. I want you to just sort of gaze into that. That's the message that's been coming through for all the readings this month. While I make a few brief notations for folks, so I'm just going to toggle over. I'll be back. Check it out. That is the card that's sitting over the top of your reading. It's a major arcana card. That is the beautiful goddess of alchemy. Her job is to mingle together the energy that arises into her realm from the earth below. If you look at the bottom right-hand side of the card, you'll see there's a portal there. And energy is delivered to her, according to Spirit, from that place. And it's almost as if you've ever seen images of the earth from space and what the cloud cover looks like. The blue orb, those are the words that are streaming through. So just the Spirit says, tuck that into your heart for a moment. I'm just going to send out a few reminders. If you are new to the channel, welcome. It's lovely to have you here. We have been on a fantastic journey, month to month, as the readings have come out for the entirety of 2017. If you have not seen the prior videos, it's very important for you to go and look at some of them. And, at this point, it's a lot to look at the whole way through. The videos do build upon each other. There has been a story unfolding about your soul progress and the journey that you are making as a spirit entity walking across the earth toward this destiny in 2017 of a new set point. And so here in the last month, as we approach the solstice, this is the theme from Spirit. Really beautiful. If you would like a private reading, or if you would like to purchase a gift certificate or a reading as a gift, I've been getting that question. Of course, that's totally fine. Scroll below the video to the description box, and you'll see the words "Show More." Click on that. It's a tab. All the information you need is right there. My contact information, the types of readings available, and the reservation link, etc. If you would like to join the live stream event that is coming on the 9th of November, you need to have a subscription for that. That is also under the Show More tab. So click on that. You'll see the information. Sign up, because I'd really love to have your energy set point represented. It's going to be on the 9th of December. I'm going to look forward to seeing you. It's a special live stream event. It is for subscription members only. So I'm urging you not to miss that and to join with us and be present with your energy. Leo, going forward, with this as the theme, the mingler of energy. There are two things about this card. So clearly, deep in the mystical realm, in this beautiful place, this is a goddess who holds a vessel. And the vessel she holds is representative of Spirit saying, I'm going to toggle back, the earth energy. And so there she is. That vessel represents your progress, your soul, your being. And there's the sacred spiral that we often see represented in these cards at the heart chakra. And Spirit's talking to me about the King of Art and some of the cast of characters that have come forward in your readings. So this beautiful goddess has her whole energy in meditation upon the magic that we see bubbling out of this beautiful vessel, having received your energy. So going forward through the month of December, this is the aspect in the mystical realm in which you are held. Those are the words that are coming through from Spirit about the way in which you are received. The other thing about this reading, I'm going to give you a little spoiler alert. As we approach the solstice, a lot of messaging has been coming out about the sacred vessel and the sacred bowl into which cremated remains of those who passed away were placed. Back in the Iron Age, when these passage tombs were built, Spirit's already chattering in sort of an unending stream about the passage tombs. So I'm going to allow that to just continue. I want to go through the cards for you because the message is, as always, wound up in the illustration of the cards. All right. So I'm going to toggle back so you can see that while I load up the next photo that has to do with your energy set point. And Spirit's talking about the sacred vessel. Here's the card that comes underneath the sacred mingler of energy. This is you sitting in your place, Spirit says, in the month of December, having come to this beautiful, tranquil place. The beautiful, Spirit's talking about the beautiful blue day and the energy of tranquility represented by this woman who sits in front of a pond. And she also has a vessel, and she is gathering water and having a moment of repose. That's the word that's coming through. So in the month of December, while you walk toward the days of the solstice, you will be engaged in the judgment of skill, what you have gained, and how far you have come over the course of the year, the battles that have ensued, the state of humanity, that which you would like to manifest. All these things, you will walk with the energy of those intentions and your thoughts about the journey you have been on. And you will gather into you this beautiful state of tranquil, Spirit saying, ponderance, meaning just sort of being with it. Just, Spirit saying, just in this way, just be with it. Wherever you are, understand these are moments of repose. There is no work to be done this month. It is a matter of being present in this way, in a loving, gentle way, and understanding the place in which you walk. And this is the place in which you arrive as you sit in this place of repose, pondering your life, pondering your spirit element, Spirit says, and coming more closely in tune with the fullness of your being. So this line on the bottom is the human walk. And I'm going to show you another picture, but the first card is the beautiful warrior of art. So I'm going to toggle back and show you the card. Look at that, Leo. That's just incredible. This is someone who has come through the passage tomb, arriving into the next moment of their destiny with purity of thought and intention. And those are the things that you are going to be pondering as you walk through the month. The Spirit's saying it's going to come into your heart chakra. You will actually feel it. And there's a certain type of, okay, the word that keeps coming is repose. And I'm interpreting that as calm. Just being in this place. Mentally, Spirit says, and emotionally through your heart chakra. Allow yourself to feel that energy of simply being in this place as the days wind forward toward the solstice. Because on the day of the solstice, your soul moves forward into its next destination. And that's what this journey has been about in 2017. So the beautiful warrior of art, I want to see if the camera will capture. Do you see the magic in this person's hand? That theme is represented throughout this reading, and I will get to it as each card comes out. I would like you to note that that is the magic that we saw in the vessel from the beautiful goddess. Where is she? The beautiful goddess, the mingler of energy. Do you see? And Spirit's talking about you as a vessel. And there you are, in your human walk. On the day of the solstice, where the sun arises and illuminates the beautiful entryway to the passage tombs. And we see it here represented by this yellow pathway, the path of the sun, rising into the passage tomb. So at this point, I'm going to pause a little bit. And I've loaded up some photos for you. I would like to toggle through them because Spirit is chattering to me about your aspect in these moments. That photo that we just saw is the beautiful passage tomb at Newgrange. And there it is. It's enormous. It's absolutely stunning visually, emotionally, spiritually, and psychologically to be in this place. And so as you make your walk and you have your days of prayer and meditation and quiet in tranquility with the beautiful goddess of energy, the mingler of energy, the sacred alchemist, shining her light, so to speak, you will feel her presence. And as the solstice arrives, you then move. Your soul will move on the day of the solstice. Like souls move from the sacred, that's interesting, Spirit just said pathway, at Newgrange. So you know, what happens on the day of the solstice is the sun comes up and it illuminates the entry passageway. So in all of these tombs, there is, it's cruciform. So there's a circular inner chamber. They have 3 altar bowls, 3 altars. Each one has a sacred bowl into which the remains are placed to await the solstice, the time of passage, when the energy is able to assist your movement in your soul journey. And when I was in the passage tombs, I had a moment when I was given this experience. I was doing some readings and the sun had shifted. It was actually dropping lower in the sky. And through the movement of the sun, the passageway was illuminated. And when I was done with the readings, the wind came by and blew the door open. There was a giant iron door. You had to have a key. If you've seen the readings that came out of the Null passageway in October, you've seen this photo. Here's what I saw. When the wind came by, just spontaneously blew the door open. And that is, Spirit saying, that is the metaphor that we need to understand. And often people who've had a near-death experience talk about the experience of going through, feeling as if they're going through a tunnel and moving toward a light. And in that moment, I had an epiphany about these passage tombs. And at minimum, I would say the symbolic meaning of the way in which they were built and the belief system that existed about the movement of the sun on this particular day, when the days begin to get longer and the sun returns. It's a moment of profound energy shift and a time in which these people believed that one could transition from this world to the next based on the energy that is available. And so the passage tombs were built in order to capture this energy of a portal, so to speak, in order to help the souls resting there to move forward into the next destination on their journey. It's a profound notion. And to see the passageway at Newgrange, the first card in your human walk, is really beautiful, very encouraging, pardon me, and somewhat startling in a sense. Right next to that, we see another major arcana card. That is the beautiful decider of will. The second representation of beautiful male energy, the impetus of shift and change on an energetic basis. There it is. Look how beautiful. The decider. Highly activated at the will center and the heart chakra. Beautiful, sacred male energy of movement and shift and change. And so, you know, as you go through this month and you come to the days of the solstice, which a few days before and the day of the solstice and a few days after, things will become illuminated for you on the inside. And your soul and your human walk combined in these moments. Spirit's talking about the experience that you have the opportunity to embrace in this way. Understanding yourself as a spirit entity, walking here in a human body. And we talk about it a lot in life through all the religious traditions, Spirit says, and yet we don't experience it fully. And so this year, because of all the shift and change and the dawning of the eclipses that came and the portals that opened, it's been, Spirit says, a staggered process, intentionally set in order to move us toward this destination of shift and change, because this is a year of new beginnings. And so, of course, we have to transform, and we're being given this opportunity to understand at the very deepest level of our knowing, Spirit says. So let's toggle back and look at this last card, and I love the transition of this is really beautiful. We start the reading with gorgeous female energy, with the notion of a vessel. Often the notion that accompanies the idea, if you will, of the female entity and sacred female energy. Women in their set point, physically, Spirit's been talking about this a lot too. They are physically, literally, a portal. It is, Spirit's talking about the sacred feminine and the human representation of that energy that has to do with being a portal through which souls enter into this realm. And so, we see two images of this. I'm going to toggle back. While the reading begins, the notion of the feminine portal and the way souls shift and change as they pass through this portal from the mystical realm into this place. And then out through the passage tomb, through some sort of spiritual movement back to the mystical realm in order to activate your will to go forward and bring to you the notion of yourself as a spirit being in the deepest way possible while you walk here as a human entity. So the blending of male and female energy, which has also been going on all year. And you'll see as the reading comes forward. But the last card on this human walk is the King of Skill. Clearly, the King of Skill represents being at the top of your game in terms of your skill as a spirit entity while you walk here. That's what Spirit's chattering about in the background. So let me show you the card. There's the beautiful King of Skill. He sits in his workshop. He's come across a long journey. And, do you see the golden light in the sand? Spirit's talking about the representation of these two things and how they mirror each other and the message that is in the representation that the cards bring us. So Spirit's chattering on about the golden pathway and the representation of this in this card of this card. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can make sense of all the information that's streaming through. But, if we just think about this card, this man clearly is a warrior. He's very strong. He's very clear. He's very serious about his intention. His shield is hung on the wall behind him. He has moved forward through his journey, and that's what Spirit's talking about. He's moved forward. He no longer needs that kind of a shield. He doesn't have those kind of life experiences because of his will and his intention. He has moved forward to this new place, this new way of being. He has made a sacred decision about how he will carry his spirit self-knowledge going forward. And he then comes to rest in this notion. And what he does is he begins to make shoes for his new journey. He's creating his pathway forward. He's creating the ability that he needs on his human journey to go forward into the next phase of his existence, having come to the top of his skill level and ability as a human, reaching the pinnacle Spirit's talking about. I'm going to toggle back. I want you to see that in context with all the things that have come out about these cards. So the next thing that Spirit wants to talk with you about is the idea that this brings when you take this sacred journey through the dawning, having come through the beautiful sacred feminine to arrive here in this place, to have the Spirit walk, and these awarenesses that are coming to you this particular year in the days surrounding the solstice. And here is the card that causes you to connect those two things, the mystical realm and the human journey. That is the beautiful goddess of the Boyne Valley in Ireland, the place in which the passage tombs exist. And we see her standing in connection with the judgment of skill and the beautiful mingler of energy. So again, at the center of this reading, blending and assisting all of the male energy, the impetus of your walk through December on a human level, as you experience these things, beautiful, sacred balance, blending your energy with the sacred female and utilizing the notion of a portal, because Leo, you are going through in some way, and Spirit would like you to understand how important it is to have balance, and the notion that balance is actually present with you. And so if you look into these cards and you see, for example, in the very center of the reading, the decider of will sits just below the judgment of skill, how those two things are aligned in a yin-yang way, and how they serve each other in their deep understanding of movement and shift and change. And on the left side of the reading, the bridge card, is the beautiful woman of art. And standing below her, supporting her ability to be an energetic being of flow and abundance. And again, Spirit's chattering so fast I can hardly keep up with it. Just understand that she sits next to this beautiful woman in repose with her sacred vessel. So all of those women in the center line are holding a sacred vessel. And that is the energy of your spirit. And that spirit, in these moments, takes its walk in human form with male-informed energy, aligned in every step of the way in the sacred yin-yang of the female essence that reflects it. It's a beautiful reading, Leo, and if you haven't seen last month and the month before, I'm urging you to go look, because you will, it brings me to tears sometimes when I see these things come out. All right, I want to show you this card up close. There she is. That is Bo Ann. The meaning, back in the old days, it meant cow wealth. So we see her in this beautiful, lush valley, and if any of you have ever been to Ireland, you know it rains a lot. And so it's just beautiful, lush, green, gorgeous, every place you look. And there's the sun. Another notation, Spirit saying, a reminder about the importance of the solstice this year. This woman, again, highly activated, just as this person is. Spirit says, representations of the same theme, the same energy set point. This woman also transformed through a sacred journey. And if you look closely at her garment, just as he has magic in his hands, she holds abundance in her hands. And enough abundance in the background to fill whatever need may arise, Spirit's saying. So, as you continue this journey and become affected by the days of the solstice, this is the feminine aspect that feeds you And this woman literally transformed, and the energy began to flow from her and formed the river, the beautiful Boyne Valley. And we can see her garment is one of shift and change and flow, both green and blue, transformation and new life. This is the card that stands in the midpoint between your human walk with all that male type intention, the things we assign, Spirit says. It's not specifically male, but because in our human realm, those are the words we use, those are the experiences we have, and those are the set points we have, right? Even those are shifting and changing now, as you know. But essentially, here to help us understand this energy in all the ways it can display itself and support its opposite, Spirit says. It's quite a beautiful message. All right, so going forward into the spirit realm, having had these supports and this yin and yang existence every day, feeling the flow and understanding the shift and change that is going on for yourself as a spirit entity while you walk through this beautiful planet. Here are the cards that represent the spirit walk. And so Spirit's asking you, look into each vertical line to understand the journey, if you will. So the first card on the spirit line is another signification of the sacred vessel. That is the renewer of growth. So clearly, going through this transition, coming into the days of the solstice, and having come through that passage, Spirit's talking about the left line of the cards vertically, having come through and transforming your energy in order that it flow across the planet to bring abundance and tranquility and peace and activation of your destiny. The representation of that experience in the spirit realm that you are also having is the renewer of growth. It's an incredibly beautiful card, and it's based on an actual artifact that was found in a bog, and it's called the Gundestrup Cauldron. You can look it up online. It's really beautiful. I believe it sits in a museum now in Denmark. Those are elderflowers, and we see scenes of shift and change and growth, and the gods and goddesses that have been present through the eons. And if you can see into the cauldron, the bowl, the chalice, whatever what you want to call it, there are more scenes in there that don't quite come through the camera, but that impact all the readings that come out. And here we see again the notion of the triple gods, or the triple goddess, some people call it. So this process, again, as another reflection, Spirit says, of this message of shift and change and growth and renewal, having come through your human existence to this day, to the days of the solstice. And I just want to say, when I built this house, I built it in such a way that in the winter, when the sun is really low, the sun comes streaming in the windows to help heat the house through passive gain. And so I am having a little bit of a challenge because the house right now, I have the curtains up in the front windows because there's so much light coming in, I wouldn't be able to get the reading out. So it's been an interesting transition for me, and it's impacting me very deeply as we move toward the solstice. And I'm so looking forward. I hope there is a clear sky on those days. And Spirit wants you to know, whether it's clear or whether it's cloudy, it doesn't matter. It's about the energy that is present and available to you in this way to make these transitions. Next to this beautiful renewer of growth, it's really exciting to me to see the warrior of skill. sitting right above the judgment of skill and the decider of will. Look at the center vertical line. That piece of your journey unfolding in the center place of your existence. It's beautiful. So having come through this journey, emerging from the passage tomb, if you will, the experience of the solstice, your will being activated based on these days of, Spirit keeps saying, pondering, meaning just having some quiet in a peaceful way to just be in the world, well aware of the beauty that is surrounding you, and reviewing your experiences and the experiences of humans and what we create and what we desire and what we would like to move toward. And the next step above that is a sacred adventure. That is the warrior of skill, who is known to be impulsive in a sacred way. And what he does is he awaits the sacred impulse. And when it comes to him, he jumps atop his beautiful horse. Again, clarity, purity of intention and thought and ability. And he rides straight into the impulse. And you see how he's kind of, it looks like he's standing a little bit in twilight, mystical realm a little bit. Do you see what he holds? Also, another image of somebody with sustenance or magic, so to speak, in their hands. This is a very powerful man. He's healthy, in a sense, or Spirit saying a reflection of this in a sense. He's making the shoes with which to go forward, preparing his pathway. This gentleman is ready. So the progress has already been made. And he stands ready. There are the shoes. He's got the saddlebag packed. He's wearing his passion. He's got this beautiful ruby garment. And he stands in his place, invested with the strength that has come to him through his journeying, and accompanied by this purity of intention and thought. And it is that purity that allows him to respond to the sacred impulse. And when the impulse comes, he jumps atop the beautiful steed, Spirit says, and rides straight into it. So it's the positive notion of impulse. Having had your will liberated and renewed so that you can make decisions about how you're going forward based on what you have experienced and your thoughts and feelings and learnings, Spirit said, from those experiences. And then being renewed into a place of new growth in order to stand ready to take up the sacred impulse that comes to you as the moments unfold. And again, reminding us that we're moving toward a solstice, a moment of shift and change. And moving forward, moving on, Spirit says, into the next phase of our experience and our Spirit's talking about adventure and shift and change. And look, another signification of beautiful sacred male energy. The impetus for change. This is actually the changer of will. It's fantastic to me. And I'm going to toggle back so you can see it in relationship to the other cards. All the things already having been said, the changer of will comes to its set point through the decider of will and the king of skill sitting in alignment with the beautiful sacred mingler of energy. And Spirit saying it is another visual description of your shift and change and movement and the way that the male and female energy are at work in concert together to bring the change that is meant to happen in the moment of the solstice. I believe, Leo, something will shift and change inside of you to allow you to release that which no longer serves you. That's what this card is about. And, right at the heart chakra. Shift and change in a very deep, powerful way. A sudden revelation is what Spirit's talking about. And having the will and the impetus to respond to this impulse, Spirit's saying. The Spirit says they ride together into this experience to bring the change that is meant to happen inside of ourselves and here in a general way. Because as we shift and change in 2017, these are the days when our energy, our awareness, our shift and change now can go forward into the populace in order to create that which we seek. And Spirit has been talking about creating the sacred tapestry of energy through the shift and change of each astrological set point. That is what turns the wheel and brings change that may seem sudden, it may seem shocking. So there's a lot of information streaming through about this and about the general state of the world and the shift and change that comes when we step into the deepest aspects of ourselves, responding to the sacred impulse that is coming. So I want to show you the outcome card in light of all of this messaging. And we'll talk about that, and then I'll toggle over and I'll show you the picture. Look at that. Beautiful feminine energy. The energy of revelation. And again, you see where my fingers are? Another vessel. 2 vessel, 3 actually, in this illustration. Spirit's talking about the sacred triad. Isn't that interesting? So again, passion, vision, sacred activation. This woman had the capacity of sacred vision to see the future. And from her heart chakra, she fills her vessel and pours it out in order to share with the world at large. And she has the sacred vessel filled with water at her side. Love, abundance, tranquility, the ability to manifest, the ability to hold the representation of water in the very highest aspect. As an illustration, Spirit says, this woman's destiny was to name the king going forward. And what's interesting about it, I'm going to show you in context. All right, hang on just a second. It's going to take me a minute to load up the picture. There she sits in this reading. If you look at the very center line, we see 4 women holding sacred vessels and assisting in the movement of energy in the way that the portal is meant to function this year in 2017, accompanied by the strength of the male impulse and blended into the deepest aspect of the spiritual realm by the beautiful portal of the sacred feminine. It's a lovely story of yin and yang and the rise of that here in this earth, accompanied, Spirit says, by the spirit intention that exists, that you came here manifesting yourself in a sense to be here for these moments, to have this experience. The notion of the blending of these energies and this walk through December is Spirit's talking about the impact of the days and showing you the illustrations in this way with the sacred changer of will as the last step on the spirit realm, accompanying your walk as the king of skill with the beautiful mingler of energy between those 2 cards. And Spirit's talking about the reflection of heaven and earth and the sacred feminine concept that resides between the 2 in these days. And the beautiful outcome, having taken this journey, is a revelation. Something new being revealed to you because of your astrological set point. The ability to understand the future and to share your passion and your knowledge and your identity, Spirit says, with those around you. Going forward, having that destiny. And, Leo, I want to show you something else. If you'll remember, this is the place from where your reading, in October, when I was at the Passage Tombs, your reading came from the beautiful Passage Tomb at Lokru, the seat of feminine power, the place where Maeve had Queen Maeve, who was a sacred feminine vessel of power, in order to be the king in the day when she existed, in the days when she had her reign. The kings had to marry her, or they could not rise to the throne. And so when you think about that notion and the place in which Maeve had her throne, the fact that her throne has upon it, right in the center, the beautiful sacred swastika, a notation of sacred energy arising and filling a sacred vessel in a human form. If you don't know and you haven't heard any of the previous readings, the image of the swastika is an ancient symbol that had everything to do with positive, sacred energy transitioning and filling the Kundalini pathway of the human form. I urge you to Google it online. And sadly, in our days, we have seen the rise of the negative and the way in which the symbol was captured, so to speak, and utilized in order to, Spirit's talking about turning the coin and shifting this idea to something negative. And it is time to recapture not only the notion of the swastika, but the idea and the intention that is, Spirit's talking about transcribing the message and recapturing the message. It's really beautiful that this is the place in which your reading came out. And I want to just show you, this is what was on the inside of the tomb. Look at the beauty. The stones inside of the tomb were incredibly gorgeous. Here's something that's a little bit of a close-up. So with all of this messaging coming through about destiny and the woman who named kings at the seat of Tara, the Leophale stone, Spirit is talking with you very loudly about your destiny and about Newgrange and the impact of these passage tombs. All of these places from which and through which apparently your soul progress is moving on the solstice in this energetic pathway that arises for you as the solstice comes. It's an incredibly intense, beautiful message, Leo. And your messaging has been beautiful and intense, all year. I am very grateful to everyone that has accompanied me. I've been on quite a journey of shift and change and growth myself. Some of you have heard me tell that story. If you're new, you probably haven't. But this is a new venture for me based on, many years of venturing deeper and deeper still into my own energy set point and the things that are being revealed to me and through me now that I've started on this part of my journey. So as you come through the solstice, I'm tripping on my words. I think Mercury's in retrograde in a couple days. It's affecting me. This is the outcome, the revelation of the art of sacred vision and the ability to predict the king going forward. It's a beautiful message about the shift and change that we are meant to experience here in this realm through our soul journey, and the ability to change our will and take up our energy in order to create that which is prophesied for us. It's really beautiful. So Leo, have a wonderful month. If you can, in any way that you can, take some days around the solstice. The sun illuminates the pathway of the passage tombs. I think it's 5 days, maybe 6, a couple of days before the 21st, a couple of days after, as the sun makes its transition through that position, as the earth turns. Spirit, that's what's coming through. A lot of messaging about that. Understand what is turning this year in 2017 and your role in what will come next. That is why the outcome card is about revelation, revealing the art of being a spirit being, walking through a human existence, and what it is we can create together as we weave this beautiful tapestry with each of our energy set points. So have a wonderful holiday season. Enjoy the solstice. Give yourself a few minutes. I know we're all busy. Spirit says, give yourself a few minutes every day if you can. 5 minutes. To just go deep and say thank you and be grateful for being alive in these moments. I'll look forward to seeing you hopefully on the 9th for the solstice reading about the energy that is coming through for the planet on the day of the solstice. And if not, I'll look forward to seeing you in January. I hope you all have lovely holidays, and I'll be thinking of you. I'll leave you with the cards. Thanks, Leo.